Hello, this is Mike Fish, and this is lesson 2 in our short-term rental training series. It's lesson 2 of section 1, which is analyzing a property for potential profitability. In lesson 1, we talked about bedroom configuration. Lesson 2, we're going to talk about layout. And I always say we sell an experience as much as we rent a property. And that has a lot to do with the layout of the property, inside, outside, has to do with amenities. And so we're going to talk about that layout a little bit. And I want to stress what we're talking about is ideals, right? No property is perfect, but I want to give you kind of a roadmap to what would be the ideal property. And people are surprised normally when I'll show them some of our inventory and I'll show them what's really profitable compared to what's not. They're always a little surprised. Folks are looking to get together and have an experience, make memories. Not that a nice house and a nice lake home doesn't help, don't get me wrong, but really the layout and the amenities are almost more important than having, for example, fancy granite countertops or something like that. So let's talk about that ideal group family floor plan. In lesson 1, we talked about the benefit of having multiple bedrooms, 3, 4, 5 bedrooms, so we can have larger groups, so we can get a higher rate. And now we're going to talk about that layout. And what we're looking for is, in a nutshell, 3, 4 hangouts inside and 3, 4 hangouts outside. And keep in mind when you're looking at a property, a lot of times people will use lofts, garages, basement spaces. They don't even have to be finished. People are surprised when I tell them the #1 return on your investment for a short-term rental, if you've got one now that's not performing where you want it, or you're setting one up, put a game room in that garage. And we're talking, ping pong, darts, foosball. Obviously a pool table is awesome. Kind of a bar, a lot of bar area, a fridge, TV, old couch, basically a hangout. Now I do want to mention it is important that it has air conditioning and heat, but doesn't even have to be attached to the house. I do want to mention certain guests do really like kind of a main bedroom with a bathroom connected, but not 100% necessary. So let's talk about those spaces. We're looking for like a living room space, a sitting room space, maybe a family room type space, game room, theater. Don't let theater scare you away. One of my most profitable places has a sheet on a wall, overhead projector, 2 couches in a basement room, and people love it. But when we can take theater and put that on the OTAs and people are searching, it's huge, and we get great feedback on these game rooms and on these theaters. Both of them, if you can set up an area like that, are phenomenal. And we'll go into more detail on different videos. 2, 3 hangouts outside. We like to, a deck, patio, fire pit area. A screened-in porch is huge. We had a property a few years ago that had a beautiful screened-in porch facing the lake. We called it our happy place, and people loved it. So a screened-in porch is great, by the way. Yard space to play games, bean bags, volleyball. A beach area is also huge. I've got multiple places without a beach, but I will tell you, having even a very modest little swimming beach for the younger kids can be worth at least $100 a night more in the summer. Lakeside, again, patio, dock seating, people love it. And even a hot tub space. If it doesn't have a hot tub, we can talk about that in a different video, but hot tubs might as well be filled with gold here in the off season. So I do want to mention, ideally, dining inside and outside should be there and match sleeping capacity. It certainly affects the reviews. We've got properties that have 10, 15 people, but the dining only seats 8. And especially if you don't have a family room area with a game table for them to play games or hang out on, people hang out around that dining, right? So outside, inside dining, ideally, depending on the flow inside and outside, it should cover the capacity. The game room, again, as I mentioned, doesn't have to be anything fancy. Theater room doesn't have to be anything fancy. Office spaces are also very important. If you can have a place, we can say you've got a dedicated office space. A lot of folks that stay with us for a week or two, they've got someone in the family that has to work. Having that office space is so important. We've got properties that have a desk, extra screens, printers, and very fast internet for that reason. So that is something to consider, and we'll talk about that in a different video. Laundry is important, not only for housekeeping, but also for the guest experience. Someone staying there for a week, they want to have the ability to wash and dry clothes. All areas, of course, should be, have good heating, good air conditioning. There's aftermarket things we do to bedrooms in some properties, that don't have that. Storage space is important to some people, particularly the closets being open, empty, and ready for them. Very few people use dressers or put stuff in nightstands. Some people do, but having a space for them to keep their clothes is important. Bathrooms, the more the better. Ideally 2-3 bathrooms if you got 4 or 5 bedrooms, right? But in a nutshell, we're looking for a more expansive, laid out, or even broken up floor plan compared to kind of the 1-bedroom lofted cabiny feel. And we are not discouraging anybody. There's some great rentals out there that, none of this is a right from wrong. It's just an ideal if you're looking and you're asking, how can I create the ideal VRBO with the best potential to be profitable? So in a nutshell, one more time, 3-4 hangouts inside, 3-4 hangouts outside. Again, I'm Mike Fish. This is lesson 2 of our first section, which is analyzing a lake home for short-term rental profitability. So depending on where you're seeing this, go ahead and subscribe, stay in touch. We're going to be putting out a ton of valuable content. And of course, we also have our Just Ask Mike feature. You can go to our website, ask a question, and we will certainly add it to the content and send it to you. So thank you very much for your time, and take care.